Hi, Linda Anderson here from Linda Lou Creates. I am really happy that you joined me today. I wanted to share with you a card, a Mother's Day card that I created, again, inspired by a patchwork quilt. I've been having a lot of fun with these and I just can't stop myself from making them. It also helps me to use up a little bit of my pattern paper. And believe it or not, this does go together quite easily. So, I don't know if you can see all the beautiful texture from the embossing on that. Let me show you what I did here and what supplies you're going to need. So first off, I have a card base. I love my top folding card bases. So this one measures 11 inches by 4 1/4. The score line is at 5 1/2 where I folded it. I already stamped, and on the inside have a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 inch Whisper White. And you'll see the sentiment and the flower that I stamped in there. They come from the Good Morning Magnolia stamp set. It is a 2-set set. And so I did do the Enjoy Today and then this beautiful flower here. I inked it up first in petal pink, stamped it off on some scrap paper, and then brought it back down onto the inside here to make it a little bit lighter. All right, now for the front of the card, a couple things here. First, the Mossy Meadow is 4 inch by 4 inch. Then I have some basic black. This is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then a piece of petal pink. This is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. Now as far as the designer series paper goes, I did choose the Magnolia Lane DSP and a couple pieces here. First up, this is a square of 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. Okay, then I have a couple pieces here, some of the smaller ones. Now these, the pink ones here, the striped ones, are 1 1/4 inch by 1 1/4 inch. Actually, the green ones are too. They're 1 1/4, then you just cut them on the diagonal to have these separate pieces. Now you're going to need 2 pieces in one design that you're going to cut along the diagonal. And then you're going to need 2 pieces of the 1 1/4 inch that you don't cut. All right, so there's the pieces then to make onto your quilt, or to put on your quilt. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to move the card off to the side because I wanted to show you just a little cheat, I guess, that I have here. Because I'm going to take my petal pink. Remember, this measures 3 1/2 by 3 1/2, and I'm just going to set it there in amongst that. These lines here, top and bottom, are the center of that, so at 1 3/4. So what I want to do is, I like to use my liquid glue, gives me that little bit of wiggle room. The one thing, and this is the one that's the most important, is to make sure you have this centered. So that means I'm going to put it first as a diamond shape, and I want to make sure that my points are right here in the center. If they're centered on top and bottom, they're going to be centered side to side. So here we go. I'm going to line it right up, and you'll notice then too, here along the sides, they're going to be centered as well. All right, that is the most important one right there. Okay, so there we go. Now here we go. We're going to start building. Let me show you what we're going to do. Now let me just turn this and I'll show you why I'm doing that. I'm going to take my 2 squares that have not been cut, and they're going to get layered right on top. Just like that. Okay? And then the pieces that I did cut along the diagonal, this long portion where I actually did the cutting is going to go right here along the edge, top and bottom, side to side, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to actually lay these right in here. So bottom, and then remember that long part, that diagonal that I cut, is going to go also at the top. Is it starting to look like a quilt pattern to you? So what we would do now is start gluing all of these pieces down. So let me go here. I like to go ahead and start building it first and then get to doing my gluing down. That way I can arrange it the way I want. And I wanted so that more of this flower showed. That's why I was like, oh, let me just kind of turn it around a little bit. So that's why I did that. So let me go ahead. Now, I don't know if I want my stripes going different directions or not. I opted to keep my stripes going the same direction. So that just seemed more pleasing to the eye that way. For me, it did. You can certainly play with this and see what works for you. All right, and now I will get these pieces glued right in here. This does, once you actually have it laid out, go fairly fast, as you can see. So, and again, I do like using the liquid glue for it. Okay, because there, I just needed to slide that down a little bit. It's tight up against. All right, now, just so I can see better, I'm going to flip it around. Okay, here's this piece. One more piece to go. Then you get to decide an embossing folder out of your stash that you're going to want to use to run this through. So here it is, how quickly that went together. Now you will notice that some of the points do extend over. I honestly just kind of snip those off. I don't think you can really tell. You know, it's up to you. It's up to you. Even if my ends, I didn't get those, I would trim those up also. Now, like I said, now's the chance to run this through the embossing folder. So what I did, I already did that. So here it is. And then I've adhered it down to my black that measures 3 3/4 squared, and then down to the mossy meadow that is the 4 inches squared. So isn't that awesome? This embossing folder, by the way, it's called Eyelet Lace. I think that adds just a really nice little pattern there. Okay, so now let's bring back our card base. Now here's where you decide. Do I want it to go that direction, or flip it around and go this direction? Sometimes it will depend if you have something, you know, a flower or something in there that you want it facing a certain way. That might determine the direction that you go. I actually like it that way. So that's what I'm going to do. So you can at this point, if you would like to use dimensionals and pop it up, you certainly can. Believe it or not, me, the queen of dimensionals, has decided to just glue this straight down. Now, as far as the sentiment goes, I pulled out, where is it? It should be here in my stack. I cut out of Whisper White cardstock. This uses a set of dies called the Stitched So Sweetly dies. Cut that out, and then with the Memento Tuxedo Black ink and the Timeless Tulip stamp set, I stamped the Happy Mother's Day. Here's where I put on some of my dimensionals. I will pop this up right in the center here. Well, or eyeball it. So here we go. I have this beautiful ribbon that I love. It's the metallic edge ribbon in petal pink, and I tied a nice bow with that. Have it attached to my roll of glue dots so I can pop it up. Sometimes your glue dot's a little bit bigger than the knot of your bow, so just kind of roll it up on itself. And I'm going to pop it right here, kind of at this point. And I'm okay with the tails. Usually I like them shorter than that. I don't know why. I do. Now, I felt like it needed just one more thing, just a little something else, a little bit of bling. After all, it is a Mother's Day card. So I brought in these champagne rhinestones, and I went with the little ones, and I am going to put them right here in these corners. So there will be actually 5 of them that I'm going to put down. So anywhere that some of these points meet, let me tell you, this is a great way. If your points don't meet exactly, guess what? They look okay now. I was debating whether I wanted to put them on the ends here, and I opted not to. So I am just putting it kind of on the interior portion, the points of the card. One more. And I'm calling it done. So here we go. Here is a patchwork card for Mother's Day. Let me bring in the other one. So see how this one I have the greens are on the side to side. Here they're top and bottom. I don't know. Does it look different? I guess if you look at it, but either one, I think they're both beautiful. So hey, thanks again, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. That way you won't miss out on any new videos that I post. I do have a blog. It is called lindaloucreates.com, and I get posting there some other projects, even have a newsletter that you can stay up to date on everything Stampin' Up! And other cards that I've designed. I will put on my newsletter as well. You can sign up for that on my blog. So, hey, thanks again for joining me. I hope you get a chance to create today, but also remember, stay safe and keep on stamping. Bye now.